Hey again, folks. Welcome to the Shut Up and Do It podcast, the place you can come and hang out with us while we go through all things real estate with a focus on bringing you top quality topics and speakers all believe in a get it done manner. I'm your host, Nick Aalerud, creator of the Complete Deal Flow System and a principal with AA Real Estate Group, along with my partner and co-host, the Deal Flow expert, the sales trainer, the lead gen machine, the leader of the Solutions Group, and the broker in Esquire, Robbie Retzel.
You're too kind. You were too kind.
Yeah. No suit? You said you'd wear a suit next time I built you up like that.
You know, all my suits are, I don't go to the office anymore, so all my suits are dirty or not dry cleaned. I have no reason to wear them.
That's fair. I love that. That's awesome. That's cool.
I'm very excited for today's podcast, though. I got to tell you. You and I have known this guy for a long time. Systems, niches, the inherited property master, Joe T. I love it.
Joe, thanks for joining us, man.
Oh, you're welcome. It's an honor. It's an honor for sure.
Why don't you start, Joe, telling us, why real estate and, tell it your background. You have a pretty extensive, very diverse background from what I recall.
Yeah, funny enough, I had one of those things pop up in Facebook today, your Facebook, history thing.
Yeah, right.
Today, I opened a yoga studio. So we went from yoga studio owner to inherited property expert, right, in 5 years. So, so there's basically quite a bit of diversity. It basically came down just to, keep it semi-quick is I bought my first multifamily when I was 21. And I was at that point at 21 years old that we bought it and refinanced it, and I had that money. And it was right before, it was in 2000, early 2000. So it was before the last, it was before it took off in the early 2000s. So I had that chance then to buy properties in Manchester, and we probably wouldn't be on this podcast right now. And I took, I would say, a left-hand turn with that money, and I didn't stay in real estate for a few years. And I got married, ended up in Texas, got divorced, and then ended up in luck of the draw, Claremont, New Hampshire. And, I inherently wanted to do real estate that whole time. I've been a career machinist. And when I ended up in Claremont, I ended up starting, basically taking a 3-person company to an 80-person company. And
are there 80 people in Claremont?
There are surprisingly. We even got a rehab up there right now, surprisingly too.
There you go. All right.
I don't even know. So funny enough. So basically, I had this ingrained kind of systems approach. I mean, everything you do when you get into production machining, I would walk around with a stopwatch, and every movement I make, I had to record. Every 1 second meant money. If I could shave a second off, any process I did, it made money for us. Every week it would make money. The more guns I could make, we had an unlimited order. So I basically you'll see, and you guys know that ties into what we do and what I do and what I bitch about now is how inefficient real estate is. And, so that basically ended up in Claremont, bought some apartment buildings, owned the yoga studio, met my now wife in Nashua, and I was at the jumping off point. I was like, okay, I own a yoga studio. I am running 10 apartments, and I'm running a machine shop. And I have a girlfriend that lives 2 hours away. This just wasn't all adding up. I said, let's, are you going to do, should I get off the pot? Are you finally going to do this real estate thing or not? And I closed the studio and sold my house, left my job, and here we are. Basically, it's been, I think I moved down here. It's 3.5 years ago now. I moved down to Nashua and went at this with nothing, no plan, no nothing. Just, I know I got to make it somehow, some way. And that's it. No 401k. There was no mommy and daddy giving me money, no trust fund. I had $25,000 from the sale of my house. That's what I had. I had given myself 6 months. That's what I had. And that's the short story of how I've ended up here.
That's awesome. Burn the boats, man. Burn the boats.
Yep.
That's awesome. Has it been a big change, civilization, Southern New Hampshire versus wherever the hell you were up north?
Yeah. It was. It definitely was at first. And, being in Nashua, it was good for my personality to be up in Claremont. I liked it was good. It was relaxing. I was able to kind of chill out for the first time in my life and not be so high strung, and so it was good. And then coming down here and being around it again was just, I don't know, it was a head spin, But luckily enough, I'm back. I'm in Brookline now, New Hampshire, and on a couple acres, and it's a good medium ground, for me, where I'm in the woods, but I'm half an hour from my office. So
when you obviously feel that your machinist background gave you a solid leg up, you think, in your real estate business?
Yeah, I don't think knowing that how much I had to overcome building a 3-person company to an 80-person company, and all those hurdles that I had to basically overcome, either it be personnel, hiring, firing, production goals, all that stuff. If I didn't do that, I don't think I would have jumped. Because I said, it wasn't like, okay, I'm just going to make this decision. It was not easy. I was scared the daylights out of me to leave my full-time job. That's all I knew. I mean, but I said, wait a minute, I did this incredible, for me it was incredible, thing that no one else did. I was able to do that. Why can't I go do it for myself? And so that portion of it tied in. And then it also ties in from a production machining standpoint of efficiencies and, as you guys know, CRM management and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah,
wow. What was your biggest challenge as you got started? So you came down to Nashua, you basically you had a reset button, right?
Yep.
You're going to make this work somehow. What were your next steps, man? Like, how did you get in the game?
Yeah. Basically, I had been exposed to RIAs back in the day, and so I was kind of puttering around those, trying to meet some people, knowing I needed help. I don't even know, man. I just kept digging around, trying to figure out what other people were doing, and seeing what they weren't doing was probably my biggest indicator. I knew that inventory was short. Even 3 years ago, inventory was short. Guys were looking for deals. So I was like, all right, there's no sense in being anywhere else except for finding deals. That's the end of the story for me. That's where I need to be. And I thought that's where I would be. But at that time and early on, I think many wholesalers, $5,000 a hit for me wasn't going to do it. It's not. I didn't have the scale. I didn't have systems in place. It wasn't going to happen. So I just kind of, I don't know, poked around. I met you. I'll go into that. Once you question me there, I'll open that can of worms up. And, I don't even know. I just kept driving forward and trying to meet people that I trusted. There are a lot of people in this business that will prey on newbies, prey on wholesalers. And I saw them right away. And I had to turn away some big developers that I thought could have changed my path, and said that you guys aren't interested in helping Joe. You're interested in helping you, and off my back. I might as well go back to being a machinist again. You know what I mean? So that wasn't going to work. I needed to have a bigger, just because I had nothing at the moment doesn't mean that I didn't bring stuff to the table. So That was probably one of the biggest hurdles, was making those initial relationships. And that's what changed it. I can't emphasize the point enough about staying away from people that don't know what they're doing in this business, and finding people who are really truly doing it and want to give you as much as they can of the equity slice. You know what I mean? Or whatever, however it is, they recognize what you bring to the table, So that was early on. Probably the biggest thing that I did was I made 2 key relationships that are still key relationships to this day, for me anyway.
You have I have one Robbie, I promise I'll let you ask questions after
please.
this.
Go.
But Joe, it's interesting because one of the philosophies that a couple of us share are, some people say leap first, the net will appear. Some people say done is better than perfect. You were in the business, but you took things, I think, a little bit of a different way. And because of your background, I want to know, obviously it's worked for you since, but you built, I'm going to call it the machine, right? You built your system, your follow-up system, your response system, your touch system, your lead system. You built it all before you were really actively, were you already getting leads and stuff and you had to figure out a way to process them? Or did you build it all up first, knowing that for growth, and then you could just have a place to flow them all into? How did you accomplish that?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Because me and you talked about this early on, is I saw it instantly that I remember sending out, I don't even know, we'll just call it 1,000 pieces of mail. And I was driving for dollars that day, right? And I wish I had time to drive for dollars now, And I was driving for dollars, and that mail drop hit, and my phone would not stop ringing. I was like, how is this? What am I supposed to do with? I was like writing stuff on paper. Like, how am I even supposed to? What is this? And that was a very big eye opener for me. That first mail piece, that there is no way that this is remotely scalable at any. So I started to see what systems were out there, hunting around for. I didn't even know what CRM was. That wasn't a word that I knew 3 years ago, And then I met Dan Schwartz, and he had his thing going on Podio at the time, and he was running all these different things and GlobiFlow and all this different automation stuff. And when you say automation, my brain automatically just like, wait a minute, real estate automation? Like, let me check this out. And, so I just saw early on that how can I go to investors and ask them for money, for marketing dollars, if I can't monetize on those marketing dollars? Like, I had people willing to give me money because they saw I was willing to hustle it out. But in good faith, I couldn't take their money because I didn't feel good about where I was as a person, as a company at that time. I didn't have systems. So that is what I started to work on, and basically put my business on hold for a few months till I figured out how all these guys did it, and I copied it. And now I don't even use that system anymore. Now I went to the, guys who showed me everything. I use their system.
That's awesome. So it's just interesting that, you literally put your business on hold. You halted your business while you went out to replicate this system, which is, I don't know a lot of people do that. It's really cool. Maybe that was, to your credit as a machinist back in the day. You saw the whole thing out in your head, needed to build it out first. So now you have the thing that we're just going to go down that conveyor belt, right? Like, maybe that's just what you needed to help proceed. I love that. So Rob's going to ask the question, why inherited property solutions? Go ahead, Rob. I didn't mean to take that from you. Please.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was going to switch gears. Obviously the riches are in the niches, as we know. And Joe, you are in a great niche. How did you find the inherited property or probate niche or whatever you want to call it? I don't know what it's going by these days.
It's all right. I say inherited property, and that could be debated 10 ways to Sunday as far as all these other people out there. So I call it inherited because when I market to people, we found through market studies that inherited seems to be the word that fits best from a B2C standpoint. It tends to cover everything, even if they're an executor or a personal representative, executrix, whatever the word is, or they're a trustee or they're a surviving spouse. Inherited seems to semi-branch that off. So to answer your question, early on, the word wasn't inherited; it was probate, right? Any of the guru stuff out there, they say the word probate, and bandit signs, probate, foreclosures. Basically, what I saw early on was it was hard to extract that data, and there wasn't a lot of people. When I was going to the courthouse, there was no one pulling court records. And I was like, okay, this is definitely where I need to be. No one's here. No one's doing this. That's it. Here's where I'm at. And then I saw I didn't have the budget to compete with the big guys and do 10 different avenues and do everything. And I didn't have the experience either. So I said, listen, I'm going to get good at one thing only for right now. And I'm going to do that really well. And that's basically how I ended up where I'm at now. I'd say probably 85% of the transactions we do are some sort of inherited property. Either it be listing, or we're buying it, or if I'm even just helping someone, it doesn't even turn into something. It usually does in the long run, but that's where I've stayed.
That's awesome. And I know you've kind of taken it to the next level here. I mean, you go, it's not just mailing to, the executor, like you were saying. You are getting in front of the people who are making the decisions. You're also going to attorneys. You're going, you're talking to groups like that. So for you, what has been the biggest leap as far as bringing you those deals? I mean, I know you're the expert in this space, but how did you build that up? Because I know you've done a ton of networking for people to actually take you seriously.
Yeah, that's fortunate enough is, my wife that runs her own company, Snowbird Creatives, came from a background of heavy branding, large marketing at a multi-billion-dollar company, right? Branding. I don't think as investors and the typical real estate guru BS that they teach you, they don't teach a lot on branding, because it doesn't instantly bring you deals, right? So we're very focused as investors on leads, offers, deals, right? Leads, offers, deals, not branding leads, offers, deals, right? That's nowhere in the flow. But what separated me, and I've had many arguments with her, is like, I can stick up a bandit sign that says I buy houses cash, and I'm going to get deals in the door. So you can take your branding and stuff it, So
you just got married recently, is that right?
Yeah. So I might not have said that, at least more than 5 times anyway. So it was. But now, as I can remain semi-open-minded sometimes, because I think as entrepreneurs, we just need to put our blinders on and go, regardless of what everybody else and their brother is telling us. You just need to friggin' make a decision and go with it. And that's how I built a company from 3 to 80. I didn't care what everybody else said. I made a decision. This is what we're doing. Go, execute. I will then adjust from as I go, So basically that's what's ended up happening as we've gone, is now I'm seeing, okay, move, keep zigging and zagging to get to that end game. And branding has brought me there, because now we've legit have a company with an office space, with a partner, with marketing, with an agent, with a broker coming on. There's just a bunch of, and you would have asked me this stuff a while ago, I would have been like, huh? This is even possible? And that all came from building trying to build actually a company that wants to actually help people then and provide solutions to them, because there's so many questions that come up that people have in this space, either it be Medicaid, Medicare. There's so much beyond the typical guru stuff that people have questions for that you should know how to answer. And when you do, you close. You do the short sale thing. This isn't anything you don't know. So am I on track with you, Rob, answering that?
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. And I think the most important thing you said was make a decision and execute, right? Because you can spend so much time just analyzing and then zig and zag, like you're saying, you stay nimble, right? You got to, you go in one direction, it doesn't work. At least you're moving. You can now you failed in that direction. You move into a different direction. At least you know where to go and what works and what doesn't, right?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's easy to say that too. And again, where I'm always at this crossroads, like I can't even describe. We like quadrupled our marketing budget this year in 2018 with and not just random stuff. We actually had many business meetings at the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018, and studying leads, and through our CRM, we could see KPIs, what our leads were coming from. You know, to make those jumps aren't, for me, easy, because I need to make a living off of this as well, and grow a company, and have a partner, and pay for professional marketing. We're not talking $5 an hour in the Philippines or going to Fiverr to get stuff done. You know, we're talking professional stuff. You pay. But the results are where I'm at today is, I don't think there's too many people in our space that can talk, at least in our two states, as investors, can talk probates or inherited property.
The other thing you mentioned, which I felt was really, really key, you mentioned that, hey, you're just the guy to call now, even if you can't get a deal immediately, right? So we're in that same boat. We decided to move our branding, not necessarily the short sale stuff, but 10 years ago, to say we're not just here to put a cash offer in your house, right? What else can we do to help you out? Like, what position are you in, and how can we help you? Even if we can't buy, we still can help, right?
Yep.
And if you position yourself as in that service mindset, I really feel like that propels anyone ahead of everybody else out there that just took a course and wants to get leads and close them. Take the offer, or no, all right, I'm out. Next deal. So that's awesome.
I can't even begin to go down that road of I have so many examples of how that's worked, of helping people. And I have some awesome video testimonials, or just testimonials. I have business examples of how that has panned out in the end. Even now that we have follow-ups built in, now I'm following up with these people, right? So something I helped them with, I stay in touch. And I know they're going to sell the house. It's just a matter of, it wasn't at that moment, and it wasn't at what I wanted it to be. So on their terms, and now I've helped them, and I've given them free information. I want to be the Google of inherited property. That's what I want to be, really, because right. So that's what I want. That's really truly what I model Google's business. I want that. I want to be the authority and the information source.
So you were a little taken aback because you realized real estate was not automatable, if that's a word. I just made that word up, but we'll see.
It's good. I like it.
So you were taken aback by that. And I have to ask you, now that you've kind of got your whole system set up and in place, and you're actively putting people together, what's been your most challenging part of that? And step A, B, and C maybe of that, if you're willing to share how you have scaled. Have you tried to make this, a system?
Yeah, for sure. It is painful. And hiring, it's another expense, right? If I got to hire someone, to me, it's another precipice I have to jump off of again, where I got to hire someone now. Now there's more money coming out of the bank account. That means I need to take in more deals to cover that. I got to grow the system even further beyond what it is. So that's just, it's for some reason I could hire machinists. I don't know what it is. I could hire and grow machinists, and I knew the ins and outs. for some reason with this business, it is absolutely torture to get key people who want to work and that realize that if I'm paying you up front now and I don't get paid till the end, shut up and do some work. If not, come join me and get paid on the back, and I'll pay you a little bit more money. Right? Exactly. It's so don't tell me how to do things if you're getting paid on the front. Just shut up and do it. If you want to give me advice, then you come with me on the backside and you get paid when all said and done. So that's not easy for a lot of people to digest. And I just don't know, man. It's a big crossroads we're at right now. Of I've had to fire my own family. That I knew I was going to fire early on. Even I hired an office manager that fell through. It's right now. We run the Investor Fuse system, and they teach office manager, lead acquisition, disposition, and I see it now. I would have never known early on about all these different fields, but just with the amount of leads that come in, you need to have someone going out and doing acquisitions. You need to have someone doing dispositions of things. You need to have an office manager when the 10 goddamn emails come in today from an agent that can't get into a showing, the house didn't appraise, piece of paperwork didn't come in. I mean, you have to respond to that stuff, or you get a bad reputation as a professional. So it's cumbersome, and it is the biggest. It is nothing to do with money right now to grow the business. It is. I have been told by Dan specifically that my biggest hurdle right now is me. I am in the way of me growing the company. And I have a partner to answer to too. And so don't get me wrong. But usually I'm able to coax him into if I have the idea. So that's it. I am the problem. I am fearful of bringing on more help, teaching them, wasting more of my time, but I know it's where I got to go.
Thank you for being so open, Joe. I mean, not many people are that. That's really key. And I obviously relate with you. I know Rob does too. I mean, finding those good key people that are willing to go the distance with you, that are willing to, put it in the same time and effort. It's just so hard, man. It's real hard. And I appreciate that, I think we all have to go through these challenges. The only companies around us that I know that are fairly big on the real estate side, they do employ like family partners. And you and I both have that experience where maybe that wasn't the best move that we had ever made. Mine wasn't in real estate, but still, can't fire your mom. Love you, Mom.
Yeah, right. Did you get that order out today, by the way?
Yeah, get more fruit. Stick more strawberries. No,
Pasta.
But thank you for being so open with that, man. That's good. I ask people a lot of Rob has the other, I know he likes to ask the market question too, but I'll ask this question. What's the best purchase you've ever made that's under $100? So
best purchase I've ever made that was under $100?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. I don't even know. Best purchase under $100? Jeez, you got me stumped. I don't even know. Jeez.
Yoga studio. Did you pay $100 for a yoga studio?
No. I don't know, man. You got me stumped on that. I mean,
we'll come back.
Yeah, it might come. I bet you it will. That'll pop into my mind. I'll come up with something snarky.
Gotcha. All right, Rob, you love this question. Go for it.
I don't love this question. We're geographically diverse lately, Joe. We were with Bill Roberts earlier. He's in the South Pole. You're all the way up there in the North Pole now. I mean, I don't even know where Brookline, New Hampshire is. I have no idea. Anyway. No, no, but seriously, I guess obviously real estate's hyper local. We know that, but generally in our area, where do you think we are in the market cycle? I mean, Nick and I have been trying to predict this for too long. We've been wrong the entire time.
Yeah, it's interesting because I have a different thought process than most on this.
Yeah.
And I tend because I always hear you guys, and it drives me bonkers when I hear you guys talk about this stuff. and that's just me, and I know how you guys are, so that's great. And it's for me, I look at the number of machinist jobs and the number of manufacturing jobs that are going on right now. That to me is a key indicator of where the market is. With people, and this is just opinion. This isn't like some high. I'm not that smart with this stuff. This is just Joe's little opinion. And my little opinion is this. I remember before the crash, the amount of machinist jobs or manufacturing jobs that were out there. In Massachusetts at the time, there was over 300 machinist jobs. If you typed in CNC machinist, okay? Now the crash happened, and you were lucky if you were pulling 70 machinist jobs in manufacturing. Now we're up over those type of numbers. So we are definitely beyond. And I personally think that manufacturing has a heavy heavy impact on real estate, because so much stuff is made, right? And either it's a medical company that's making stuff. There's so much that goes on from manufacturing standpoint of things that if manufacturing's doing good, real estate's usually doing good. And right now, I don't see manufacturing declining. So that's just what I've done really good. I haven't sworn once. One BS, that's just the BS I feed myself to say.
You've sworn twice, by the way. Sorry. And you're okay to swear on this podcast.
All right. Damn. All right. So, that's just what I tell myself anyway. I just look at it from that standpoint. That manufacturing is strong right now, and I hope things continue along what we're doing, because it's everywhere I go, stuff's getting built. There's cars everywhere. It's I don't know. That's just my opinion on stuff.
No, that's cool. That's great. I mean, that's the most unique answer I think we've had. What you're looking at as far as the indicators for that. So that's cool.
That is cool. All right, purchase, Joe. Think hard. Best purchase. If you can't think of that, just how about something that you invested in?
Best purchase, man. Oh man, I gotta tell you two quick ones, because I wanted to allude to this, but I got away from it. The best ones I made. First of all, was a $14,000 duplex in Lowell that we picked up. Okay, no one.
Lowell?
In Lowell, good old Lowell, Mass. Okay,
$14,000.
$14,000, man. Right. My partner thought I was smoking when I called them and said, "Hey, listen, they'll sell it to us for $50." It was when ended up happening. I think we ended up talking them down. We ended up showing up and talking them down like $3,000, right? And we were like, we don't even know if we want to buy it.
Yeah, right.
And we cleaned it out, put $1,000 into it or something, and like put it on the market and sold it for $140 in minutes. Right? That was a good day. The second one was, now here I alluded to this, was key relationships, and Nick was a key relationship early on, and still is one of the two key relationships I mentioned.
Yep.
I don't develop a lot of flipper relationships. You guys are you're the second relationship that I have. So that being the case, early on, I did pay Nick to help with some training and consulting and taking a look at stuff and whatever that was. And I didn't quite go into the whole program with him. It's just I'm not that kind of guy. And but I just needed someone to like put it to me straight that and look out for my best interest. That's what it was that Nick did early on, was he looked out for my best interest. Even to this day, we've tried to work together, and we are working together now on a bunch of stuff. But early on, you didn't push me to come there, and you made business decisions or business advice that affected me that were always out for my best interest. So there were only two people who did that. You were one, and my now business partner was the other. Now, early on, I had a lead from a lady in Lowell, okay? And I know we've mentioned this story lately, but that lead basically was, I knew this lady wanted to sell. She was moving to Germany, and I knew the ARV was 225 all day long. Now, I didn't have access to the MLS back then. I didn't have a way to get comps except for like Zillow, and I knew the Highlands and Lowell. So I had a gut feeling, which doesn't work for a lot of people. So this lady wanted me to come out. For some reason, she trusted me. And
I love you, bro, but we also have less than 45 seconds. So keep going.
Bottom line, Nick showed up at that first deal and didn't buy it. In turn, my now partner bought it with me, and we made $100,000 on that. But what Nick did do was show up with Megan, and that got me the credibility I needed to make that happen.
Oh, Meg the attorney, yeah.
Megan and you showed up, and that lady loved me, and it built me the credibility because you had a lower offer, and it didn't work at that moment. A month later, she called me back. We bought it, and 2 weeks later, we had an offer for $100,000 over what we bought it for.
Awesome. Joe, you're the best, man. Thanks for sharing.